Hello, everyone. You know, since the first day that I walked in the door, everyone could see that I've always had a real commitment to kids. I love our kids and absolutely in every setting. And so today we have an announcement to make that is absolutely a real changer. I've got two individuals with me. I've got Joe Bozick and Bernie Dolan with me, and I'll get into a little bit better introduction in just a few minutes. But we have an announcement today that is a partnership with many, many, many different people participating, and it really can make a real difference in our youth and then spread to who knows where. But that's why today I am so excited to announce our commitment to a great program that is making a huge difference in the lives of so many kids all across our state. It's called Game Changer. I think it's a really fitting name, and that's just what it really is aimed at. It's aimed at addressing not only opioid and substance abuse in West Virginia, but also issues like vaping and tobacco and alcohol use and teenage suicide and just more and more and more. At the end of the day, the goal is to absolutely do all we possibly can to make life better for our children and absolutely for their parents and on and on. You know, my administration is 100% all in with this program. This program is kind of the next level of stepping stones. You know, I came to you with Jim's dream that turned into Jobs and Hope. It makes a difference. It can't in any way by itself get us there. There's all kinds of different things that we can continue to do, and we've got to do it, and we've got to do it right now. Now, we've also had incredible support of this program from the private sector, law enforcement agencies, and on across our state. Game Changer is one of the largest public-private coalitions in this nation. The man next to me, Joe Bozick, is going to speak to you in just a second, and he runs Game Changer. And he has asked me to be like a head coach for the state of West Virginia. And I said, done, all in, absolutely without any question. This fall, we're going to put on 4 virtual summits across the state to talk to kids about various issues that Game Changer will be teaching and tackling. We'll broadcast this, get this, to 157,000 middle and high school students. We'll feature some of the nation's top speakers on all these subjects that will be able to help these children. With Joe's help, with Bernie's help, I will hold a meeting later this year where we're going to bring together all the members of the Game Changer Coalition, education and health experts, law enforcement, private sector partners, and on and on and on. So we can all sit at one table, have more and more discussions, share ideas, and absolutely come up with more great ways that we can tackle a real problem that we have with the most precious to all of us, and that's our kids. So at this point in time, I'm going to pass the ball to a good friend, Joe Bozick, and Joe's going to take over, and then he's going to fire it back over to Bernie Dolan, and then at some point in time, I guess it'll come back to me, or if they'll end it up, I'll have them end it up. Take over, Joe.
Governor, thank you very much. This is one of the most gratifying days in my career. The leadership you've shown, the understanding and compassion that you've shown for the youth and adults and the people throughout the communities in West Virginia as I've got to know you has been really gratifying. And I can't thank you enough. And when you look for a head coach, and also, by the way, you may not know it, and general manager and director of player personnel, I looked at that 378 and 115 record, and I think that speaks for itself that, again, your record speaks for itself, and there's no question you can be a head coach, general manager, and director of player personnel. But I think more importantly, I want to share a little story with you. My wife, Debbie, is a 25-year teacher at Milan Park Elementary, and she's a speech pathologist. And she was in the kitchen cooking one day listening to you talk, and she looked up to me and she said, you know, and she's not a politician and doesn't really get much into it. And she said, you can disagree with his politics, you can disagree with how he governs, but you can't take away from him the way he fought for us teachers, how he cares for our teachers, and the fact that there is no doubt in my mind he has a genuine love for the kids and the people of this state. And that's what made us want you to be the head coach, the general manager, and director of play personnel of Game Changers. My wife said it best. It's a lot more than winning ball games. And the leadership you've shown to the people of this state, the fact that you've dealt with a difficult situation with the pandemic, the fact that every day you have to come up and answer difficult questions with a lot of no answers or tough things to find answers. But yet, if I watched, you've not disdained any of your other duties as governor. And you've shown that you come to work every day looking at the whole picture. And that's the kids, that's the citizens, and the people in the communities of West Virginia. And I think that with your leadership, Bernie's leadership, and the leadership of Superintendent Birch, and the vast public-private coalition that we've put together, I think we are on our way to success. You know, you had a dream, and they say teamwork makes the dream work. And I think in a little bit here, you're going to see a team that, together with you, we've put together, and we're going to put the full court press on, and they're all going to get the ball over half court. You know, there's been a lot of people that have helped. This is a monumental effort, and it's not an effort that any of us can do ourselves. And I can tell you this, about 18 months ago, when we started working with various members of your staff and people throughout the state and different agencies, I went to Bernie Dolan, and we were sitting in the office, and he wanted to find some things to do with kids. And he knows I'm a little bit of a wild card sometime, and I make him nervous. And but he knew I could throw the ball a little bit, so he put in a passing offense. He put in Air Coryell, and he let me throw the ball all over the lot. And there were times I'd walk in his office, and I thought he was going to faint when I told him something. But he stuck with me, which meant a lot to me because I have a lot of respect for him, and I have a lot of respect for his leadership. And it's my pleasure to, probably for lack of a better word, introduce you to your team captain, the executive director of the West Virginia Secondary School Activities Commission, Bernie Dolan.
Thanks, Joe. Well, I've never been more proud to be a West Virginian. This time, as we're working through Game Changer, the vast professionals who've recognized the great work that we can do, we collectively as a whole. They're from all walks of life, and if you look behind us, those are just the beginning of the people. To Governor Justice, you know, I speak for everybody associated with Game Changer. We are certainly excited to have you as the head coach. We think that's a fitting place for you, but it also puts Game Changer in the position it has to be in leading the charge to have a better life for our kids. And we want to thank you and your administration for that time. It's no secret that we're in uncertain times for our kids at this point, and for everybody, but especially for the kids. They're only in high school once. They're only in middle school once. And these are difficult times for them. They should be looking forward to football and basketball and soccer and all the other sports and just the excitement of being with their team. But yet, they've got concern, and that's where we step in. We, Governor Justice, Superintendent Birch, the SSAC, and all of our partners, everybody chips in to help the student and the kids to make sure they can benefit. Again, this is a large coalition that has every walk of life because everybody has a connection to the kids. Everybody wants what's best for them. While COVID-19 may alter Our schedules, it may alter school, may alter football games, basketball, whatever. It can't alter our passion to make sure we do what's right for kids. I've been part of the last 7 weeks where the kids have been able to practice, and their ability to just get excited about being with their teammates again and getting back together. We need to keep that going. It's been my privilege to see so many differing groups in this coalition from all walks and philosophies. They all have agendas. But well, you know what? When they walk through the door, they got one agenda. What's right for the kids? How can we help them? And we think this is just the beginning of a great coalition that we're going to be able to deal with a lot of things. As Governor Justice said, it's not just an opioid thing, but right now, opioid is a big deal. There's a lot of issues right now that kids are facing, and we certainly want to be on board helping that. I know the West Virginia SSAC is committed to its role for the game changer, and we think that everybody in here, including the governor, is committed to their part. And so with that, I look forward to the next year, to the next summits virtually. Kids might enjoy them better because it's in their world. And so we're very excited about the next step forward in the world of Game Changer. Thank you.
Thanks, Bernie. You know, Governor, wanted to kind of get into talking a little bit about the team. You know, we have so many talented people in so many different agencies and companies in West Virginia. What we may lack is some funding at times. We have the knowledge and the know-how and the leadership in your administration to be able to do a lot of wonderful things. And this public-private coalition is going to be a big step forward because of helping with funding for programs for our youth and to help our state agencies with programs for the youth and to facilitate the great programs our prevention lead organizers are establishing. Just two examples as we speak. So thankful to Walmart, so thankful to Parmar stores, so thankful to Mountaineer Mart and Pepsi. Today and for the next 2 months, in all Parmar stores and Mountaineer Marts throughout West Virginia, there are change boxes under the guise of small change, big difference. And we're asking people to put their change, dollar bills, whatever, in to help with prevention programs. Pepsi's donating proceeds from their sales in the Parmars, over 100 Parmars and Mountaineer Marts, to Game Changer up to and including September 17th. In all 48 Walmarts in West Virginia, Pepsi and Walmart are going together with a campaign called Together We Make Change, where proceeds from the sale of Pepsi products will be going to prevention programs in the state of West Virginia. That's just a start. We've got a lot of other bigger plans. It's amazing how many people and companies and individuals care about West Virginia. We have probably close to 20 states that are looking and watching what we're doing now with hopes that they use West Virginia as a model as we take Game Changer elsewhere. West Virginia is going to shine nationally, and we deserve to shine nationally because we have great people. With that, I'll go ahead and get into the quick. I want to recognize the great team we've been able to put together, obviously led by our governor, Jim Justice, who I said was not only head coach, but general manager and director of player personnel. We have an organization, Jobs of Hope, which is a great program that are helping people that have come through treatment get satisfying jobs, well-paying jobs to help them get back on their feet again, and it's a wonderful program. Clayton Birch is superintendent of schools. I can't say enough about the Department of Education and their people and how much they've put hands out to help us so greatly in so many different ways and to educate this guy right here who is not real adept at a lot of things when it comes to the educational end. Cabinet Secretary Bill Crouch and Commissioner of Behavioral Health Christina Mullins. Christina Mullins has become like a sister to me. She's taught me so much, and has put up with all my idiosyncrasies and the fact that sometimes I want to go rogue. She's got a wealth of knowledge, and she cares so much about the kids and the people of West Virginia. And she's given me the space to go and do my own thing, but kept a watchful eye on me to make sure that I didn't do the wrong thing. So, you know, I'm greatly indebted, and Game Changers should be greatly indebted to her. I've said everything I can about Bernie and could sit here all day and talk about him, and the last 18 months is his patience with me as we've moved all the way to get to today. It's been absolutely fabulous. Bob Hansen, Executive Director of the Office of Drug Control Policy, another fabulous individual that's saddled with so much work, especially now with COVID-19, and Christina's stretched thin a little bit, but yet he's always been there for me. He's always helped me. He's put me in the right path on a lot of the technical ends, takes my phone calls when I know he has a list a mile long. And again, Game Changers owes Bob Hansen a great debt. Barry Foster, Executive Director of Prevent Suicide in West Virginia. Another person that's joined Game Changers 17, 18 months ago. Loved the idea, cares deeply about the kids, has so many ideas for programs that she wants us to help her implement. As does Andrea Dar, the Director for the West Virginia State Police Crime Against Children's Unit. You know, as we go on, just look at the people that have joined up that want to help here. Andrea Dar has provided me counsel, has told me the ins and outs on a lot of the different agencies and organizations, stuck up for me sometimes when maybe people were a little bit on my back. And again, she's a game changer. Greg Puckett, who's Executive Director of Community Connections and is a commissioner in Mercer County and is a prevention lead organizer, has an unbelievable mind for prevention and understands the prevention game, leads 5 other fabulous prevention lead organizers in the state. Dr. Susan Bissett, Executive Director of the West Virginia Drug Intervention Institute, was introduced to her about 14 months ago. We've had 25 meetings, several collaborative phone calls. She's got great expertise in the area, willing to help, willing to collaborate. Actually going to be working on potentially in 2021 a cartoon for a K through 3 on Saturday morning to teach the youngsters about the dangers of substance misuse and so on and so forth. Then we get to the private sector. Doug McMillan, the CEO of Walmart, who gave his blessing to Josh Fair, who's Walmart's Director of Public Affairs and Government Relations. Game Changer would not be where it's at today if it wasn't for Walmart and the care they have for people. They have been so great to deal with, and every time I've called, they've asked, they've offered advice, they've given suggestions. The relationship that Josh and I have been able to build, and his belief and Walmart's belief in Game Changers is going to be a catalyst as we move forward. NVB Bank was one of the original sponsors of Game Changers, and Larry Mazza and Don Robinson. Don was in some of our original meetings with Bernie talking about what we could do for the kids in West Virginia. How can we make West Virginia a better place? And Don has 7 kids under the age of 19, so he has a vested interest. Larry has given his blessing from the day one, and NVB Bank has been a wonderful corporate sponsor. Chuck Dunn, the General Manager, Senior Director for both West Virginia and Kentucky of Pepsi. Pepsi's been with us for about 7 months now, and they've jumped in with both feet, and they're into the, you know, as I mentioned, into the promotions at Walmart and Parmar stores and so on and so forth, and want to do more. I'll have a meeting with Chuck on Monday to discuss the future and what else Pepsi can do. Brian Wall, the CEO from Logan County, West Virginia, is the CEO of Parmar and Mountaineer Mart, lost several classmates to opioids. Cares so much to make it better so that, as he said, kids now don't have to have the same stories he has about the loss of classmates. Aetna Better Health of West Virginia. Todd White, the CEO, gave us go-ahead, and a friend of mine when I was sports information director at West Virginia University with Coach Catlett and Coach Nealon back in the 80s, Jim Smallridge was a basketball manager. I'd lost track of him. We had good friends. I'd lost track, and here he is in Charleston, West Virginia. He's the manager of community development. He's an RN, cares deeply about kids, and as soon as he heard what we were doing, he went to Todd White. Todd bought in, and Aetna Better Health has become a great corporate sponsor. John Unger, Greater Recovery and Community Empowerment. was privileged to speak to the Children's and Family Committee at the West Virginia Legislative Interims back in November, and I was summoned to his office immediately afterwards, and I'm wondering, I hope I didn't offend anyone, and walked in and found out about a life coach program that he has that offers 3 college credits to rising sophomores and juniors in high school that will make kids certified life coaches, because studies have shown that our kids feel more comfortable talking to peers than they do to school counselors. And the training that Grace is going to provide to make these not only life coaches, but game changer champions. And it's a great organization to run. It's going to be a great help to Game Changer. Cliff Moore, coordinator for the YMCAs. One of the biggest things that we have to do in prevention is make sure kids don't even start on drugs. And to do that, we have to have alternatives for them. We have to have things for them to do. We have to have places for them to go after school, and basketball courts and baseball fields to play on. And Cliff Moore is right on board to be a game changer, to help coordinate the YMCAs and the community centers around the state so we can implement programs to give kids something to do to keep them away from the dreaded drug. Denver Allen's the owner and president of Denver Allen and Associates, and he's been beating the pavements and talking to corporations and helping us out raise money today, yesterday, and tomorrow. He's out on the road today talking to different companies to see what he can do to solidify some additional funding to Game Changer, which is going to be so paramount to our success. Dr. Gordon Gee and Athletic Director Shane Lyons at West Virginia University were at our first press conference back in June of 2019 and have been on board ever since, offered us the Coliseum, took no money, gave us the Coliseum, gave us the use of their staff for our first summit last September, and they've put their hands out again and said anything West Virginia University can do to be game changers, they're on board. As did Dr. Jerome A. Gilbert at Marshall and Athletic Director Mike Hamrick, gave us the Henderson Center, gave us their people, right in the middle of football season last year, right when they had home football games to staff, and that we had over 7,000 kids come to the Henderson Center, and their people took care of it. I talked to Mike just last week, and he said, again, I know I speak for Marshall, whatever we can do moving forward, you make sure we are and will stay game changers. Just 3 weeks ago, I had a lunch with Dr. Martin Roth, University of Charleston, who I met a year ago, who contacted me after our first 2 summits to say what a wonderful idea, and the University of Charleston wants involved. And we've solidified our relationship, and the University of Charleston is going to be one of the sponsors of the 4 summits, and are coming up with ideas every day to try to do what they can to help solidify the game changers. Dr. Johnny Moore, president of Pure Pont Technical and Community College, has been a game changer from day one, sees the merits of it, has been wonderful, has been a financial contributor to the Game Changer initiative and movement, and is offering potential for programs, education and prevention of opioid and substance misuse, and anything that Pure Pont can do to help the Game Changer initiative. And then we go to law enforcement, and our Attorney General, Patrick Morrissey, who's been a partner with the SSAC for a number of years, is working with law enforcement throughout the state to find out what they can do for programs in the schools to teach kids and keep the respect that is so vastly needed for our law enforcement people. As do both our United States attorneys, Bill Powell and Mike Stewart. Bill in the Northern District and Mike in the Southern District have been fighting the drug situation for years, and as soon as we made a connection, they couldn't wait to get aboard and become game changers, as did Superintendent Colonel Jan Cahill of the West Virginia State Police. Didn't bat an eyelash, heard about what we were doing. Andrea Darr made a call for us and got us together, and they joined up immediately. And Rodney Miller, Executive Director of the West Virginia Sheriff's Association. That's our law enforcement people, and we're going to be meeting with them next week right over here in the Capitol to discuss the programs we have moving forward. You know, we have to help our youth to find firm ground for the future. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention a gentleman that drove down here with me today that's been on board with Game Changers since the first day, and that's Andy Nicely, publisher of the West Virginia News, who has been immeasurable with his help to me, who has offered any support that he and Brian Jarvis at West Virginia News West Virginia Media can offer. And I'm going to be indebted for Andy for a long time because his counsel is so vital and help in the effort. Our website is now up. It's not finished, but there's a good deal of it done. It's wvgamechanger.com. And, I ask people to start perusing it because there'll be a lot of information coming on it. And again, this has been a monumental effort and could never have been accomplished without the help of so many people. Again, Governor Justice, I can't thank you enough for the support you've given us today. You've put us over the top, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Joe, thank you so much, and Bernie, thank you, and let me wrap this thing up, and I'll do that this way. I just made myself just a few notes while Joe and Bernie were talking, and I think about Andy Nicely, and what a champion West Virginian that Andy is in every way, and I'm glad you mentioned Andy. I think about this morning, Rudy Giuliani was saying that 70% of the problem with the cities across this country all centers right with the drug dealers and the drug situation. 70% of all of our problems, the root of it is right there. I think about just how valuable and how meaningful this is to especially West Virginia. West Virginians get it, and our kids are so good in every way, and they are so impressionable. And if we can absolutely just do the right thing with our kids, we'll move the needle. We'll really move the needle. A long time ago, gosh, it just seems like it was yesterday, but the Little League in Beckley, I took over the directorship of the Little League in Beckley, and I guess I'm still that, but one of the things we did is we painted on the concession stand in great big maroon letters and everything. We painted on the concession stand for the kids. Well, now it seems like, well, everybody says that and everything, but at that time, it was somewhat novel and absolutely sincere. So in this situation, all you've got to do is just look at a kid's eyes. I can never in any way thank enough, Joe, what you're doing, what Bernie's doing, what all this private-public partnership of all the people that Joe went through. I mean, this is the real deal. And this absolutely will really move the needle. And for West Virginians, I would just say just this. You need a leader of the band, not me. You need a leader of the band that has the characteristics of passion and enthusiasm and somebody that's stuck on all the time. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't think these two people right here are stuck on, you just don't know them. And they're just exactly just that. Joe and Bernie are absolute champions, but there's so many champions that they named right there. I'm proud in every way to be the head coach. There's too many sad stories about, graduations of our small communities of 100 or 110 people, and we say, well, now there's only 70 of them living, and yet when we go through them, we find that almost every single one we've lost is tied some way back to drugs. So there's so much we can do. It's a big deal for West Virginia. It's an honor beyond belief for me. And let's go, Game Changers. Let's do it. And let's do it right now. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Joe, Bernie, thank you again and again and again. Thank you, everybody. Thank y'all.